The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
Vicky Schettini here. I am so excited to be here and thank you for coming. You're going to learn so much information. Today, we're going to talk about how to invest in real estate in the middle of a pandemic. And the key to it is without losing money, right? So let's get right on to it because I'm going to give you so much information and we are time sensitive. Now, during the pandemic, today what we're going to talk about is why is it better? To me, it's better to invest during the pandemic. And I'll tell you why. We're going to talk about that. You're going to be getting one of the best deals. And not only that, there's so many different ways to invest. It's just ridiculous. Again, how to find the right deals, the best deals, and really anytime you do it, whatever it takes, you're going to succeed. So failure is not an option. And I'll be talking about that all throughout because it's so important. Next thing is how the pandemic is affecting the real estate investing. So let's talk about this is number one, on the rental side. You know, one of my baskets, and I'm a strong believer that you should have a whole bunch of baskets. One of my big baskets is the real estate renting. So during the pandemic, many people were not paying rent. But there's mortgages to still pay. A lot of investors just can't afford it, especially the ones that only have a couple properties. They have to pay a mortgage, but they're not getting paid rent. So finding the deals during the pandemic is going to be key. And again, you're not out there because you can't go, you have to stay at home. So how do you find these deals? Then how do you do inspections? Normally, you would have probably gone to the property when you found a good one and then gone to do the inspection, put in the offer. You're not doing that now, right? You are sitting at home trying to see how you can put this to work. And then you got the money, loans, and lending. Unless you have the money in the bank account, many of the lenders during the pandemic stopped their programs or their criteria was a lot stricter, or how much they would lend was a lot less. And in many areas, either the market has stabilized or the market has starting to drop. Now, in 2008, we had the huge fall. Now, they say every 7 years, there's another fall. We are way due for one. And I think the pandemic could have been the start of it. So I'm going to show you ways that you can invest even when the market's going down. And we're going to talk about that because that's actually one of the best times to be able to acquire quite a few properties. So let's get back to the top, finding the deals. There's different ways. Social media right now is key. Many of the social media, let's talk about Facebook Marketplace. You're going to find quite a few deals. And vice versa. If you have deals you're flipping maybe or renting, Marketplace is a huge, huge advantage. Another one, wherever area you're in, there's also a Facebook yard sale. You can also post on there. Now, be aware, because if you're posting too much, they're going to block you. So I would probably look at and see in your area, but, post once a day and just keep on top of it. And other people are posting. So that's a great way. I know Craigslist. Craigslist is a huge way to advertise either to buy or sell. Now, many people are skeptical of Craigslist because they said there's a lot of fake stuff in there, which I'm not going to lie, there is. But when you're buying real estate, you're going through a closing attorney. They're going to verify that the person you're buying it from, you're actually buying it from that. It's the actual person. So I don't stress so much about that. My age, we were brought up on Craigslist. So when I need something, contractor, looking for a property, that's automatically I go to Craigslist. And then I'll check the other social medias. People that are younger than me, they're probably going to go to social medias. That's a huge way. Another way is, think about it. You want to build your team, and we call them bird dogs. Bird dogs, they tell you deals that are happening. So anyone that's local in the area you're working with, you want to build people that are going to be giving you deals, and you give them a bird dog fee. So mailmans, they know everything that's going on. When you start getting those pink letters, they know that you're, especially from a lender, that you need help. You need to get some funding. So that's a way to be able to work with a seller directly. The key also is to work with sellers directly, to be able to get them as much as they can, and then make it profitable for you, for the seller. And if you're planning on wholesaling it or wrap this deal, which we're going to talk about what those are, then your end buyer is still making a profit, because it has to be a win-win for everybody. Inspections. Now, during the pandemic, I changed it. I asked the seller, what is wrong with the property? And they'll give me their list, but I guarantee 95% of the times, they don't tell you everything that's wrong. So I do my offer according to what they tell me. Now, when I get the offer accepted and I'll send my contractor out there, they're going to tell me exactly what else is wrong with it, right? So at that time, if the numbers don't fit, then you either back out or you renegotiate it. And it's a perfect timing saying, look, you told me this is what was wrong with it, but my contractor is saying X, Y, Z. It doesn't make sense. The numbers I can't make it work. So either you fix those items or we need a reduction. And that's another way. And they know that they didn't tell you all of it. They thought you weren't going to see it. Maybe, and here's a lot of people are buying blindly. They're going off of it, but they're not even sending anyone out there to go look at it. Guys, you don't even know if there's a house standing. So you need to have boots on the ground wherever you're buying to make sure they're going to go and check up on things. Money, loans, and lenders. So there's many lenders that are still lending, but they're maybe wanting more for you to put down as down payment. There's so many people out there. Today's market, the stock market right now, it's not doing very well. And I'm going to show you how lending, you could actually make so much more, 10, 20, 30, 60% on your money. So there's a lot of people out there that have the funds. They just don't know where to invest it. So if you're giving them the outlet, and especially if you're going to do short-term, lenders can make so much more money on short-term, under a year funding. And then you just fix up the property, get it up producing, then you can refinance to a long-term loan. Your lender, private money lenders, made a lot more money on a short term, and we're going to show you how you can make more money that way. And then on market dropping, there's a strategy called wraparound mortgages that you'll be able to get so many more properties. The key to the wraparound mortgages is an area where the rents are high versus how much you're buying them for. So we're going to also talk about that. So we have a lot to go over because this is exciting. Now, have you guys ever wondered what it would feel like if you didn't have to worry about any more bills? If, you didn't know, especially through the pandemic, many people were caught off guard and they don't have a job. They are sitting home trying to figure out what to do. So you're taking all these webinars, you're taking all the stuff and you're learning a lot. But now how do you put it all together? One of the things that, and I've been there too. I've taken events and I get so excited. They're giving information. It makes sense at the event. But when you go home, you're like, wait, how do I even get started? That's why it's really crucial for you to go to events or workshops, even virtually, that you are hands-on. Many of us learn different ways. But majority, when you're doing it yourself, that's when it sinks in. And that's how you're going to learn. That's one of the things that we concentrated. And the academy and the WIT Academy is for you to be hands-on. Even in events, there's not a single event that I will have that you're not hands-on. The reason I do this is I want you to get stuck. I want you to get stuck at the event. And then that way we fix it according to your situation. I can do an webinar and just do a basic how to set up your business, but everybody's individual, right? So we need to set it up according to your situation. Everyone's different. So having the stability, stability is huge. Not, knowing that the money's coming in. If you get sick tomorrow and you can't work, what's going to happen with your household? What's going to happen with your, family, your house? You need to prepare for that. Do not let another COVID-19, now we're talking about a different strand. What is this COVID-20? I don't know. But this is not going to be the last one, guys. So prepare ahead of time. Do it now, so then that way next year it happens again, you're prepared. The money's already coming in, so it's not going to be a big issue. This is huge. And I don't know if it's just women or men. For women, we want stability. And one of the things we're going to talk about is security. Every investment you're going to make, it's all about the security. So having that peace of mind, not have to worry about how are you going to pay this bill? How are you going to pay bills next month? You ever wonder what it would feel like not to worry about that? And then think about you. If you're not worrying about, funding, or your kids are going to college, where are you going to come up with that money? If you're not worried about that, do you think you're going to make better decisions in life, in general, in business, and your relationships? It's peace of mind. And that's crucial. I will constantly keep saying WIT. What is WIT? Is whatever it takes. I'm not going to lie to you. This business, it's an easy business, but it's work. It's a lot of work. So if you're not willing to make the sacrifices, then don't get started. I'm just going to be straight honest. There's many people out there that they want to, be a millionaire, and you can make it. You can make it if you get focused, you have the right mindset, and you just do it. But there's going to be sacrifices that you're going to have to do and make. So if you're not willing to do sacrifices, then this might not be the career for you. And actually, in any business that you're going to be launching, you really need to do whatever it takes. And failure is not going to be an option. In life, relationships, business, you're going to have ups and downs, right? You learn from the downs. You learn and then you push through. The biggest thing is you need to know why are you doing it? Why are you doing this, making these sacrifices? Is it for your family?
It is said that we live in a world our questions create. And it's true. Those that have succeeded in life, those that stand out, those that have made a difference, those that are inventing, those that are exploring, pushing the boundaries of reality are based on those that have asked themselves empowering questions. In my new book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, I help you find your true purpose, find your legacy. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering, or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
It is really, really important to have a strong why. Why are you doing it? And I'm going to tell you about my story, but it was unfortunate. At the beginning, my why was me. I was doing it for myself. And guess what? I failed. I failed horribly. I wasn't important enough for me to go and do it. But after I did something, I had another why. And then now I was able to do it because my why was strong enough to do it. So figure out, and this is some soul searching you will have to do, because you think, yeah, I want to make more money. But if it's just for you, are you going to push through when things go down? When things happen and something You have ups and downs in a business, and a down is when you learn. You take accountability for what you did in it. Now, sometimes I hear this, well, Vicky, I didn't do anything. It was this person I'm working with or I hired or whoever it was. Well, yes, you're still accountable because you're still associating with that person. And if at one point there was probably signs and you chose not to look into those signs, there's a thing, we all get a gut feeling. And I didn't learn this until 51 to listen to it. Unfortunately, I have gotten, myself, I've had a lot of downs because I wouldn't listen to my gut feeling. If you have a gut about something, something is there, investigate. That is your accountability. Maybe you personally didn't do anything and you can't control the outcome of what other people do, but you have the gut feeling. You saw the signs. And because it was easier, you chose not to act on or find out why you had those feelings. So that's accountability. Learn from it. And since I've started paying more attention and becoming more aware of my gut, my business has completely changed. So don't just let it go. I'm going to promise you that by the end of this talk, you are going to know so much more and be able to go out there and make some wise decisions. Here is Jamie. She comes from a low-income family, and I come from a low-income family, and Jamie can relate to me. So I did not have a silver spoon in my mouth. That is for sure. And then once you hear my story, my dad died when I was 12. My mom had to go to work. She had like 5 jobs at one point. I was responsible for taking care of the household. My brother was 16. He had to go to work. I was 12. So I had to cook, clean, get the groceries. They would bring their checks home and I would pay bills. I was literally responsible for the house. And I got really good at it. That might be why I'm really good with numbers, because I learned from a young age how to maneuver funds, how to make sure that everything got paid. I got us so good at one point that we were ahead of schedule. So this is important. Jamie says she's got a story anybody can relate to. It gives you both the skills and the tools and the confidence to take action. So Jamie went to the Deal in Hand event. This is a very powerful event, and you learned a lot. You pushed through barriers. There's going to be an area in real estate that you're not going to like, but the way we make it, it's easier to do it. And sometimes we can be our worst enemies. So Jamie did not want to put offers out, did not want to do it was her fear. But once we started rationalizing and working through the fears, and that's what's important about these events, we work through your fears. What is it that's stopping you from going to the next one? And that's what you're going to have to do. I'm not going to be there the whole time, but when you have something that you just don't want to do, sit back, analyze. Why is it that I'm having issues with this part? So it's really, really important. So just to get into it, the steps to invest in a pandemic mindset. You probably hear this all the time and you're like, yeah. Once you hear my story, you're going to know how mindset is key. I was such a big failure because I had the wrong mindset. I changed my mindset and I came up with a plan. You need to have goals. And that's the one thing that we do in class is the very first thing. You don't learn anything else in the mastermind until we get your goals in place. What are my goals? Are different than your goals, are different than your neighbor's goals. So we need to set your goals according to you and get it down to daily. When you know exactly what you have to do every day, it's a lot easier. Let's do this. let's say you want to be a millionaire, have $1 million in the bank, right? How do you get there? Just thinking about it, you're like, oh man, I'll get there. And you're playing and you're, going with the flow. You're still focused. But if you don't have a strategic plan, how you're going to get there, like down to daily, many times you'll be really surprised. You might just have to do a couple things a day to be able to get there, depending on your time frame, right? So once we strategize and have your goals in place. So first thing you need is your short-term goals. That's goals under a year. What are you trying to achieve in the next year? Then from year 1 to year 5, what are you trying to achieve in those years? And then over 5 years, retirement. What are you trying to have in retirement? And then what we do is we work it backwards and we get your goals in place and get you down to what you have to do daily. So strategic planning on your goals, huge. You need to be focused. Those of you who are working out of the house, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, how many people try to call you just to chat or come by because you're at home? Or, hey, can you pick me up? I need to take my car to the dealership. Can you pick me up? Many, many people, family, friends, loved ones, they think just because you're working out of the house, you can go and talk and hang out and do favors. And at points you might be able to, but as long as you get your work done. So sometimes you have to set boundaries and let people know, look, I would love to do that, but just because I'm working out of the house, I still have to get my job done. So I'm unable. So by setting boundaries, it's easier to stay focused and don't, get distracted either. There's many people out there that they say they want you to succeed, but they get jealous. You want to have in your inner circle the people around you that are like you, that want to see you succeed, and vice versa. You help them to succeed. It's a team effort, right? Many people, you have a lot of fake people in your circle right now. And unfortunately, some people may be family, really close friends. That's okay. I'm not telling you to stop being friends with them, but they don't need to be in your inner circle. They're going to drag you down. You're going to change your mindset and you're going to lose focus. So you can still be friends with them, but not in the inner circle. The inner circle are the people that know everything, your goals, that they're helping you get there. And when you hear my story, you're going to see how I was able to find complete strangers that I was able to put in my inner circle that helped me when I had nothing. Think ahead. One of the things that people tell me all the time in the masterminds and the academy is, that one was good. And I'm like, because you're thinking ahead. You automatically foresee what's going to happen. If you go this route, what could go wrong, right? Or what could go right? What could be the next step? So by and with experience, you'll be able to think ahead a lot easier, but always think ahead. Diversity. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to have different types of investments. Next one is act fast. And all these we're going to talk a little bit more into detail, but you really need to act fast. I cannot tell you, especially new people, they want to do the research. They want to reanalyze it and analyze the deal. No, you analyze it. You have 1 hour to make a decision. If you can't make that decision within that hour, guess what? Another person, a Vicky, is going to make that decision within the hour. You're going to lose it. So if you cannot act fast, here's what's going to happen. You're still going to get some deals, but you're not going to get the good deals, because people like me are going to get the good deals because we act fast. I really try to give somebody answers within 15 minutes. I get as much information. You know what? If I analyzed it wrong, if I missed something, I can always renegotiate. There's an exit strategy for me. So I have a blanket, if you want to call it that I'll be able to get out of the deal if I made a mistake. So act fast. And then when you get the deal, that is when you do your due diligence. If you made a mistake, that's okay. You can always back out or renegotiate. And then close the deals. I can't even tell you how many times you get the deal and then just to start closing it, it's an act of Congress. So let's talk about positive mindset. And then next, I'm going to tell you my story. But you need to make sure you start thinking like you made it. You make different decisions when you already reached your goal. You make, right now, especially if you're struggling with money, that's consuming your thoughts and possibly your breathing too. So, I mean, I've been there, guys. So I know exactly what you're going through. And when you don't have to worry about that, you make wiser decisions. Be that person that motivates others. In your inner circle, you want to have people that, want to help you succeed and you help them. It's a joint venture. In order for you to be successful in anything, I'm not just talking about real estate. I'm not talking about just business, personal life, friends, significant other. If you are always negative, you're probably not going to get very far. Be positive. Does life happen in everything and there's going to be negative stuff down? Yes, but you do not always have to look at the glass half empty. Look at the good side of things. And the other stuff, okay, we have this problem. How do we fix it? You learn from it, you fix it, and you move on. Okay? Positive mindset is huge. So let me tell you what happened with me. I'm a single mom. My daughter had gone off to school, university in Louisiana. I'm in California. And I really went through that empty nest syndrome. And I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't believe in it. I was one of those women that when I hear, I'm going through the empty nest syndrome, in my head, I didn't say it, but in my head, I'm thinking, get over it. And I know men go through it too, until I went through it. Oh my gosh, it felt like somebody just kind of grabbed my heart and was just squeezing it. Like it was hard to breathe. It was horrible. So I was still going through my second divorce at that time. And I was doing some flips, making some money. But the divorce attorney was always getting whatever little bit that I got. And the market in California was so saturated that your profit margins were getting smaller and smaller. So yes, I was making money, but by the time I made it, it was gone. And that's many of the times, if you're just doing flippings, is by the time you get paid, you already have that money spent, or you have to save it for the next deal. So it's a vicious cycle. That's why I tell you, yes, that's great to do flips and even wholesaling, but you're going to have to do it for the rest of your life. If you get sick tomorrow, you're not going to get paid. If you want to go on vacation, you're not getting paid. So you can do those strategies, but you want to do strategies. That's why I talk about having different baskets of investments. You want to have baskets of whether you're there or not, the money's still coming in. Does that make sense? So this is when I decided I was going to go and build my wealth. This was my time, but I wanted to be closer to her because that emptiness feeling was really consuming my mind. And I said, you know what? I still wanted to give her space. So I decided Jackson, Mississippi was going to be the best thing for me to move. If I was really having that emptiness and I needed to see her, I could just jump in the car and I would see her in 2.5 hours. Just knowing that I could do that makes you feel so much better. So I decided to move to Jackson, Mississippi, and I had saved up $5,000. I called U-Haul. U-Haul wanted $5,000. So that's definitely out of the question. I went and I bought that trailer up there from a single dad, 1 king, 4 queens. And I sold majority of my stuff, packed that. You can see how, that trailer's packed. all the way down. You couldn't even put a pin in there. And I head on across country in New Mexico on the 10 freeway. I get a blowout. The AAA tow truck comes. That trailer's too heavy. They want me to empty it in the middle of the freeway. No. So I had to spend money to get a specialty tow truck that for semi trucks. They were able to lift it, change the tire. Not only did it happen once, it happened twice. But second time, now I'm a professional. But bottom line, all that's coming out of my pocket, and my money is just going down because I was very limited. I only started with $5,000, bought the trailer, and money's going down. So, and I had set up ahead of time when I got to Jackson, Mississippi. And a local investor here was going to owner finance me a house they had for sale. So, only thing I had to do is just get here, sign on the dotted line, and move in. Well, we're talking the whole trip. We are talking so much, texting, that I'm thinking we are friends by now. That's how much we're talking. I crossed state line, Mississippi. I'm in Mississippi. Hey, I am in Mississippi. Nothing. She disappears. She just stopped cold turkey answering my calls. So, I started thinking all the stupid stuff. I thought, well, maybe her battery went dead. And then I think she dropped her phone in the toilet. And they say if you put it in rice, it takes the water out. I don't know. I literally thought all the stuff. That was the reason she wasn't calling me. So that night I stayed at a nice motel. The next day, I realized she's not calling me back. And now what do? So I got out of that nice motel and I found, you want to call it a motel. I went and I buy for the whole week. And as I go and try to get into my room, I hear somebody say something about bed bugs. Now, guys, I didn't know what bed bugs were. I Googled it and I go in there to see where they tell you that they're at. Oh my God. The critters were just everywhere. It's just making me itch. Yeah, there's no way I could stay in there. And inside there was graffiti on the mirror, and you can tell they tried to clean it, but it was just kind of embedded inside the mirror. So no, and there's nothing wrong with people that are living in those situations. It just was not for me. I was not brought up to be in places like that. Never had in my life. But I have this clever idea now that for me to go live in my car, go sleep in my car. Again, nothing wrong if that's your situation, because I've been there, but I was never brought up that way. I had made so much money in my lifetime for me to come live in my car. And think about it. That morning, I'm in a power gung-ho mission that I'm going to be a millionaire, to that night living in the back of my car. So as you can very well imagine, I got depressed. Depression sank in, and there was just no way about it. I mean, I dove into depression. And it wasn't until a Wednesday night, I call it the rock bottom night, that there's a fight outside, sleeping in the back of the car by this time. And I hear the fight. I try to look out because I'm snooping, right? I look up. I didn't get to see anything. The only thing I hear is gunshots. And like my whole life flashed before me. I don't even want to talk about what I thought about that night, but you couldn't get any lower than what I was at. There was only one way to go lower. And it was just a bad night. So the next morning I wake up and I kept hearing one of my cousins at one time told me, "You, Vicky, you always get ahead." And that kept playing in me. And I'm thinking, she's right. Why am I still in the back of my car? I realized I've been in a pity me party. And everything was, happened to me. I was the victim. But I chose to stay there. I realized I did not have my mindset right. I've been in this pity me party, and nobody was joining that party. It was just, I was flying solo in that party. So I couldn't figure out how to change my mindset. When you're in depression, it's hard to switch it. It's not that easy. So I started thinking, what can I do to change my mindset? And this is when I talked about earlier. I came on a mission, but I was going to do it for myself, but that wasn't strong enough. And I chose to accept to live in the back of this car. As I'm thinking is, how do I get myself back, my right mindset? The only thing that kept coming to my mind was a dog. Like I didn't have enough going on. So, and by the way, in the midst of all this, I had fell down and broken my tailbone. So anytime I sat down, I had to sit down in those inflatable donuts. Well, it was around Christmas time. You know how hard it is to find a little dog on a limited budget? Because by now I'm down to $478. I found Mr. B, this little cutie pie, 3 hours away from me. The lady sent me a picture when he was a baby. By the time I got there and I saw him, I could tell it's the same dog, but he was much older. But I needed a little one so I can sneak him in places. So when I saw where he was at, his hair was so matted. And she's telling me she's brushed him, gave him 2 baths and brushed him. Oh, my poor little baby. Because you can tell that if she brushed him, he was in pain. That's how much his hair was matted. So I decided to take him. It was going to be me and B against the world. 3 hours away. So on the way back, I had a long talk with Mr. B. This lady, she was a breeder and she was breeding dogs inside her 1-bedroom apartment. She literally had about 15 dogs in there and they were all big. Mr. B and his mom were the only 2 little ones. And I told him on the way back that I was going to make it for us. He's went through that situation and now, okay, Mr. B, I'm getting you and we're going to go live in the back of a car. What was worse? Yeah, I love you, but we're still living in the back of the car. So I promised him I was going to get us out of that. And that changed my mindset. Mr. B, Mr. Big is the one that helped me get my mojo back. In 3 days, not only did I have one person, but I had 2 people that were willing to own or finance their house to me. And this is the first house that I got. What a beaut. It's so beautiful that it's ugly, or so ugly that it's beautiful. This is what I moved into. Now, I didn't know anything about fixing houses up. I taught myself from YouTube, and Pinterest gave me the ideas. YouTube showed me how to do it. I bought it with $40,000, no money down. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm on the go trying to make deals now that I got my mojo back. I had no job, no money, because I had $478. I paid $50 for Mr. B. So I'm down to $428. I have a bankruptcy on my credit report. I have a foreclosure on my credit report. I'm new in town. I literally had nothing going for me. But I had my great attitude and mindset. And these people, these 2 people that gave me the deals, they saw that. They saw that I was doing WIT. And there's people out there that want you to succeed. They're not, a lot of them have that silent, you think they're supporting you, but they're really not. No, there's people that are really supporting you. So I get into this property, and then you can see on that 3rd picture in the floor how it's all messed up. It was an older gentleman that lived in this property, and he kept having accidents. In the trailer, I had inherited tools, and I have this fascination over tools. So I learned YouTube. It was cool because as they're teaching you how to do something, that contractors would bring out their tools, and I'm like, yes, I have that tool. I didn't know what it was for, but now I know what it's for. So I learned how to fix it. I was the girl that if you would have asked me for a Phillips screwdriver, I wouldn't have known what it was. I would have said, what, the one with the cross? That was me. If I'm trying to put a picture on the wall and I don't have a hammer, I'll use my shoe. I'm like that person. So I literally knew nothing how to fix these properties, but I taught myself. The stuff that I had on the trailer, I was selling it on eBay for what? Obviously, I needed money monthly. I needed to pay this mortgage. I needed to eat. I needed to buy materials to fix this. So I needed to pay utilities. eBay, during the day, I do eBay, and that was paying for my stuff. And then at night, I fixed this house. And look at what I did. I still have the blue tape refinishing. So this is what I taught myself from Pinterest and YouTube, how to fix it up. My mortgage was $330, but it took me a little bit because I really didn't know what I was doing the first house. I put the sign outside, and in 4 hours, it rented. I was making $650 a month. My gosh, I did the happy dance. I was so excited. And I know you're saying, Vicky, it's only $650. Yes, but that tells you that the system worked. That's only $650 on one. I have over 100 now. So you do the numbers. You have to, what did I do in this scenario? I did non-traditional. I was very, very creative on how to get this done. That's what you need to do. That's how you're going to succeed. And it's really, guys, it's the law, the supply and demand, right? When you're looking for an area, and now because of the pandemic, people have to live somewhere, right? And if they have not been paying rent, they're getting evicted now. So now you're going to have these investors that are trying to sell these properties because they have not been able to pay the mortgage. So now the supply starts going up. That's why you're able to get the best deals out there. So let's go recap a little bit back, and I know I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. You need to have a plan. Set your goals. Like I said, in the mastermind, the first thing we do is set your goals and your course of action. Step by step, what you are going to do. If you don't have a company set up, we need to get that set up, right? I would definitely tell you get a mentor. It saves you so much time because you'll be connected already. Now, I didn't get a mentor when I started. And yes, I got there faster, but I cannot tell you how many mistakes I made. And it would have saved me. If I would have known back then what I know now, night and day. I mean, it would have been ridiculous. So if you get a mentor, get the tools and funding for what you're doing. I'm going to show you today how you can be a lender with none of your money. So you're going to like that part too. And then you have to implement all these course step by step. It does you no good if you just look at it. There's people out there that are just professional learners, students. They just want to learn, but they never take action. If you're not going to take action and implement, don't waste your time. You have to implement. Here's Nina. She's been also to the Deal in Hand event and all the real estate investing mentoring program I've been to. I've never had someone say, okay, time for your one-on-one. And she pulled people out and sat down with them and talked with them one-on-one for at least 30 minutes to talk about goals we have written out for the day. So, yes, what did I talk about? At the events, like the Deal in Hand, we need to get your business set up right there. And if you don't tell me what your goals is, so the first thing is before you go to the Deal in Hand event is get your goals set, because it'll make it that much faster that we can get you set up and start putting offers out there. And there's been many people that actually got their offers accepted while we're sitting there. So it's a great, just remember I say, think ahead, because that's going to be, if you bring in your goals to the event, we're going to be able to get you set up that much faster. And goals is something you have to really pay attention and listen to what exactly that you want. You can't just come up with them in 5 minutes. Okay, focus and think ahead. time is of the essence. You only have 24 hours in one day, and you want to be able to use it, not waste your time. Use it to build your business. So one of the things is, again, make sure that if you start getting interruptions, people come over, you set your boundaries, but you focus on making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Documentation. Here's something that I see this happening even with seasoned people. Let's say a lender's asking you for a list of things, or seller, whichever. Majority of people will give 90% of what's on that list. The other 10% is still needed. And when you're giving that other person, you're giving them pieces of what they need, you're wasting their time. They're not going to put you first if you waste their time, because they're analyzing it and they're like, oh, we're missing this. So you just wasted their time trying to, reacquaint with your file when they didn't have everything. So now they're going to have to put it aside. They're going to have to come back to it when you do give them the stuff. And now they're going to have to go and get reacquainted again. You always want to be number one when it comes to lenders, realtors, anyone that's out there. If they have deals, you want them to think of your name and give them to you. You're not going to be number one with realtors, bird dogs, and all those people, even lenders, if you don't act fast, if you don't give them everything they need. So get in a habit of making sure you get what you need in a timely fashion, and you will be number one. You want it that when email comes from you, even if you are selling properties to investors, you want to be that when they see your email, they stop what you're doing and pay attention, because they know you're giving them what they need. You're not wasting their time. Reporting, training your staff is huge. So as your business grows, you're going to think that you cannot afford to get a staff. But I'm going to tell you this, your business is going to plateau. Happened to me. And you're going to have to, yes, possibly take a step back to be able to go forward. What do I mean by that? When you have a stack of things you have to do and you're going to go train someone, your stack's going to get bigger. But that's okay, because you spend the time on training that person, they'll be able to pull things off that stack. What you need to do is you need to use your time to what you're good at. You don't need to be spending your time to do paperwork. Let someone else do it. And then how much more business can you get if you're doing what you're good at and they can handle the other stuff? So that's how you start getting into a turnkey business. And eventually I have someone that even analyzes all my properties. I don't even know that we're buying properties until it's time to pay. But they do everything for me, including the inspections. So that's what you want to get to. You want to build your staff, and you want to commit at training them. This is huge, because especially when you're behind, you're going to get farther behind. But in the long run, it helps. Take accountability for your actions, and you always learn from mistakes. So let's talk about diversity. In real estate, flips. This is when you buy a house, fix it up, and sell it for a higher amount. This is great. But remember I talked earlier, the only thing you do is flips. You are going to be struggling always. By the time you get paid, you've already spent that money. So if you have different baskets, maybe a rental basket, and money's coming in, when you get paid on the flip, now you can actually use it for something instead of having it already spent, because your money is being covered by the basket that is bringing money in, whether you're there or not. Whether you're in the Bahamas or not, that basket is bringing in money. That's what you want to set up. Wholesale, if you don't know what a wholesale is, this is when you go and you find the deal and you get it under contract, and then you sell that contract to someone else. So this, to me, it's the same as flipping, because if you're not there to do it, the money's not going to come in. Now, if you have a basket that's money's coming in, heck, do wholesale and flips. One of the things is, and I still do some flips every now and then, but the beginning, I didn't like it because I felt like I had to do double work. I had to go find the property, and now I have to go find my buyer. And it's easy to build a buyer's list, people that are in your area that buy, but I didn't know how to do it because I didn't have a mentor. So I had to learn the hard way. Another way is rentals. Now, I'll tell you one thing, guys. If you're buying a property for a flip, I do not care how good the numbers are in that flip. If the property doesn't also fit as a rental or a wrap, don't buy it. And why do I tell you this? What if in the middle of your rehab, the market crashes? Now you just lost your money. But if you can convert that to a rental, now you didn't lose your money. You still have it in there. You're just not going to be able to pull it out all at once, but you saved your investment. Properties go down, but they come back up. So they will come back. Wraps is when let's say I bought a car from you or a house from you, whatever I bought from you, and I gave you a down payment, and then I'm making you monthly payments, right? I can turn around and sell that house to someone else. They give me a down payment, and they make me monthly payments. What I do is I sell it for a higher amount, a higher interest rate. So when I get paid, I turn around and I paid my sellers. That is called a wraparound mortgage because the seller has a loan, and since I sold it to you for you higher, I will put a loan for the difference, right? Think about that. Did you just become a lender without any of your own money? Yes. That is one way you can do it. You do wraps, sell it for higher. You have equity. And then now you create a loan that these people need to pay you. Now, when they pay you, you grab the money and pay the seller. That's a wraparound mortgage. 2 loans wrapped in one payment coming in. Subject twos. This is when you buy a house that currently has a loan in it and you take over that loan. So let's say someone's trying to sell their house and you say, okay, I'll give you some down payment or your money up front and I'll take over your payments on this house. There's going to be a lot of subject twos coming up with the market going down. Lender. You can become a lender. Now, look at what we just talked about. You created a loan to the person that bought the property from you. They're making you monthly payments. And there's so many other non-traditional ways. I literally flipped tenants. I flipped buyers. Credit cards. There's so many ways that you can make money in real estate. And I'm going to hurry because we're going to be running out of time. So funding, where, can you get funding? This is when people that in your circle that have a self-directed IRA. These are ways that you can put money into. Your money should be in a self-directed IRA. It's an IRA where you direct where to make the investments versus the ones that the company makes the decision where to investment goes. Now, crowdfunding is where you can put a pool of people put their money in there it could be for a specific property, but it could be for like the community. Maybe you're trying to fix this whole block, community outreach. That is when people put all their money in a pool, and then that pool of money is used for a specific person. Private money lenders. So let's talk. I want to get more into how do you become a lender without using your money? How many of you guys ever seen that there's 0 interest credit cards out there? You can get one of those 0 interest credit cards. There's a way that you can pull the amount out of the credit card, and you can lend those funds for a higher amount. So if you're paying 0 interest, you can lend that money at 10% interest. You pay the credit card back, you keep the 10%. Very simple, right? If you have a line of credit, line of credit, depending what type it is, but usually you're paying a low interest rate, and only if you took money out of there. But if you have a low interest rate, you lend that money at a higher interest rate, and you make the difference. It's called the spread. So if you're borrowing money at 5% interest rate and you're lending that money to someone else at 10% interest rate, your spread is the difference of the 5 and the 10%, which is 5%. That's yours to keep. People that have 401ks, they can get loans against their 401ks, and they're paying themselves back at 0 interest. You can lend that money and be collecting. Now you pay your 401k back and you keep the difference. Very, very simple. There's startup loans out there. There's you can joint venture with other people in a project. They come in with the money, you do the work. Here's one, and I'm just going to run over this one really quick, but legally, this is Lonnie, but a 30-unit apartment complex. Now, this is after the complex was done. It wasn't done when she bought it. And she bought it for $270. She sold it for $450.
To find out about my latest projects, get a free coaching lesson, or download my book, go to www.bernardo-moya.com. She
purchased from the seller, and the seller did owner financing for $270, put $7,350 down payment. Seller's charging her 5% interest rate with payments of $1,073 a month. Well, she or they, it's a couple, did nothing to this property. They sold it for $450,000, $60,000 down payment, 7% interest rate, payments of $2,594. So let's calculate. This is a wrap, guys, what I'm showing you here. Let's calculate how much they made. $7,350 is what they put as down payment, but when they sold it to someone else, they asked the buyer put down $60,000. So up front, they made $52,650. Monthly payments to the seller are $1,073. The buyer's paying you $2,594. So when buyer pays you, you pulled out $1,073 to pay your seller, and you keep the difference, $1,521. That's for 30 years. So 30 years throughout, you're going to make $547,000. Look at how much they made combined with the $600,000. Now let me ask you a question. Who can use another $600,000? Is that you? This is the stuff where you're going to learn. And one of the wraps that I did, oh, my poor guy, he was trying to move out of state. He had called 7 investors. They didn't know this exit strategy. It didn't work for a flip, so they didn't buy it. When he called me, I almost felt guilty because he needed to go and needed to get this property off his hands. So I did a wrap, and I ended up making about $230,000. He was so ecstatic, but 7 investors passed out on this deal because they didn't know how to put it together. Do not be that investor. Come and learn different strategies, because sometimes if it doesn't work in this strategy, what you're thinking you want to do with it, it'll work in another strategy. The only way you're going to learn that is by keep doing them. Here is Carrie, and she was young. She did not know anything about real estate, and she wanted to work hard, but she didn't think she could do real estate because she was too young. She said, I don't have the money, excuse after excuse. Vicky gave me the exact tools I needed to realize I can be successful and financially free. So when you get deals, anything in your business, act fast. Remember, guys, if you went over the hour, you lost a deal. Take action. You take action. Inspections, we already talked about how you're going to do it. You're going to go off what the seller says. Once the offer gets accepted, you're going to send your contractor out there. Always be prepared and close the deal. Who thinks they can do this? Here's Nick. Nick on day 3 made $3,600. And I'll let you guys go and read that, but $3,600 on day 3. You can do it. Here's the problem to all this is most people don't, most people we were trained to go to school, get a job, and go work for somebody else. They don't teach you none of this real estate investment or any kind of investments. This is a way, the way that we were trained in today's time to be able to retire, you're going to need $3 million in liquid. Who's got that now? Do you? 1 out of 3 people is not going to be able to retire. Look at the people next to you. Which one of you 3 is going to be able to retire? If you don't set yourself up right, you're going to always be working for somebody else and you're not going to be able to retire. So my question is, why aren't you investing right now? Why? You don't know where to start, your job. This really is not for everyone. It is easy work. It is fun, but it is work. If you're out there, being a couch potato, negative, if you are not making the sacrifices, you will not succeed. So don't even try it. Do not waste your time. If you say, I don't know what to do, okay, I understand that. That's why you're going to do, these events. So then you can do hands-on and learn how to do them. If you say, don't believe that you can do this, you know what my answer is going to be? I'm going to say, you're right. You can't. Why? Because you have the wrong mindset. Until you change your mind, don't bother on coming because you're not going to succeed. First thing that goes wrong, you're not going to do it. Don't know how to get the money. Most people don't. You have to be creative, and that's why we constantly keep going over it. Plus, on the mastermind, we also do provide funding. Now, who is this for? These programs are for people that can do it, that have the right mindset, that do want to do it. Failure is never an option. So if this is you, this is the training facility where we do the one-on-ones, the masterminds. Now, it really depends. How bad do you want it? Is your why strong enough for you to do it? So the time is now to do it. My purpose really is to help 1 million people. Someone gave me a chance. I'll be honest, guys. I was able to retire let's say 3 years after I got here. I thought, for what? I like this. I like what I'm doing. So I decided to come out and find the Vickies of the world, find the people that had the attitude, the right mindset, that want to get ahead. And I'm going to help 1 million people of those. And I'll call them the ones with the Vicky attitude. That's my purpose. My purpose is to help 1 million people. All right. So the way I see it, you got 3 options. Option number 1, learn hands-on and do whatever it takes. This option is to come to the Deal in Hand event. You're going to get 2 tickets to the Deal in Hand event. Hands-on live training. This is when we cater and we do it just your specific ways. This is what Nina was talking about. We're going to spend time one-on-one, especially on the first 10 people. We really go a little bit more in detail, but we're going to set up your business according to you and actually put in offers, live offers. You're going to go and find the deals at the event. You're going to do the presentation. You're going to put the offers in. We're going to work through any of the struggles you have, because remember I said, we all have a weakness somewhere. We're going to work through them. You're going to get the secret vault. This is going to be every single, I mean, it's huge. You get it digital and you get the actual book, but every possible form you could possibly need in real estate will be in there. Profitable exit strategies. This is huge because, and security too. Remember I told you, don't ever just get a flip just because the only way it's going to work is as a flip. It's too risky. It's all about doing it right and doing it securely. So you're going to learn so many different exit strategies for you to be able to change a deal. Sometimes you're thinking you're going to go one way on the deal when you're originally getting under contract, but as you're doing your inspections, you see a better way that you can make more money a different way. So it's crucial for you to be able to be analyzing and then know when to make those decisions. We're going to go through those so many at a time. Analyze, prepare, deliver an offer. There's a strategic way to get these offers done, especially if you want to get owner financing. So you're going to be putting those offers out there and you'll be surprised. I know many people say, well, I never heard that you can get owner financing. There's so many. I mean, my first 22 deals were owner finance. They're out there. Easy negotiating strategies. I honestly could not sell a blanket to an Eskimo. I am a problem solver. So when I talk to a seller, I make sure that I ask them, why are they selling? And I make sure when I put an offer that it covers their why, their reasoning why they're selling it. You're going to set up your personal business strategies and then be able to go through the contract packages. This is a value of $9,429. And normally we will go ahead and for the best you do it for $997. So hit the link. Now, guys, to be honest with you, the Deal in Hand event is for someone that wants to do the business 100% and make it a career, have passive income coming in. This is not for people that are just looking to make some money for maybe an event. Maybe your kids are going to college and you just need to pay their college. This one's a little bit more intensive, more career-minded. The next one is more if you're just trying to make money on a one-time thing, one-time lump sum. So the Bulletproof workshop, wrap workshop. This is like Lonnie. They made how much? $53,000 up front. So this is more for people that just need to make some money. Maybe they're going on vacation. They need money for vacation. This is more for you. Don't go to the first option if you're not planning on doing it long-term, which is fine. You don't have to. Maybe you're good at where you're at. You just need that little extra money. This will be the workshop for you. You're going to find deals where to do the deals, hands-on live training. Everything we do, you're working, live training. Why? Because I want you to go home and just duplicate what you did. That's why. So all forms you could possibly need for a wrap. You're going to analyze, prepare, deliver. You're going to get the owner finance blueprint. This is another way how also we're going to talk about second, how to do double escrows. This is where you literally come in with zero money down, zero. And I've done it. So live hands-on deals. So you're going to work with reality. When I first started speaking at events, I realized there's a lot of fake people out there. One of the events I spoke to, I realized, but just by what he was teaching, it didn't make sense to me. And I started investigating, and he didn't even own a single rental, yet he's had all these followers, students. So this girl is teaching something he doesn't have. One of the things I heard the other day, if you want to know if the guru is real, ask him to help you set up your business, set it up for you. That way you know if they've gone through it or not. That is important because are you learning reality or are you learning what the perfect world would be? We don't have a perfect world. You need to learn reality. So that is why here, whether it's a deal in hand, option one, those again are for people longer term. This is if you're trying to just make money here and there or just like an event, but you're still learning hands-on. That way I'm there with you to set up your business. And I decided I didn't even tell you the pricing on the Bulletproof. So normally the Bulletproof is $997. For the best you, $97. Make sure you're hitting the links. I'll have the links at the end too. But for the best you, I decided you guys can be financial freedom. You get the Bulletproof workshop and the deal in hand event, regularly $3,994. You get both of them for the $997. So in essence, those of you who are ready to make a career, get passive income coming in, financial freedom, you get both. You get both of them for the same price. So make sure you hit that link and get ready to start. I'm really excited. Thank you for coming. And you know what? Together we can move mountains. So let's just go do it. I'll see you in class. Bye.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.